Hey there, MTG Finance folks. It's Craig Jameson here with Mox Diamond Hands Finance with your latest MTG Finance news, picks, and speculations. Now, I wanted to share with you all today a card that I see just really blowing up. Something that you should go out and buy hundreds of copies of so you can hold on to them and resell once they go up in value. And this totally isn't because I myself bought 700 copies, realized I made a mistake, and need you guys to bail me out. Nope, that's not what it is at all. Anyway, the card in question is Locket of Yesterdays. Locket of Yesterdays is a 1-mana artifact that reduces the cost of spells that share a name with the same card in the graveyard. Now, this is a genius spec that I thought of because no one else had ever thought of this. And that's why you guys are subscribed to my Patreon, because I am the only one who realizes these things. I am bringing you this content. I am bringing you this information. Anyway, so I totally didn't buy 500 copies of this and then decided to hold on to it and realized I made a mistake. But usually you get 100 copies of this, so that way only 5 of you need to buy it to make money off of. Now, in Strixhaven, we recently had a card called Dragon's Approach, which you can run any numbers of copies of. So for decks like EDH or even Modern, or I guess it's really just EDH and Modern because no one's playing this in Legacy, which would have been nice to have known before someone bought 700 or so copies of Locket of Yesterdays. It reduces the cost of this 3-mana spell by the number of copies of Dragon's Approach in the yard. Much like I recently had to reduce the amount of cars I own in order to pay this month's bills. Anyway, so if you go down over to TCG Player and buy, like, say 100 or so copies at 50 cents, and I realize that if you look at the history, you'll note that they were dimes before, and there were about 800 or so copies, more like 1,000 or so copies that were 10 cents before. But you go to TCG Player and buy them for 50 cents a piece, maybe from one seller who has 1,200 copies on TCG Player. You can make money once this card goes up, and it totally hasn't gone up already. So you'd be getting in on the early floor, and yeah, just like my wife was getting in on the early floor of my burgeoning and booming MTG Finance and MTG content career, and I'm doing very well. I am doing very well. The pandemic hasn't slowed me down at all. Thank you for asking. But yeah, just go out, buy Locket of Yesterdays, buy a ton of them, buy a giant stack. Totally don't buy 3-5 rows of them that are staring at you as a monument to failure and inadequacy because your wife's mom was right and that you're just playing some silly card game and spent too much money on. Anyway, folks, this is really going to make you a lot of money. This is genius. This is brilliant. And you just have to invest. Just buy it. Buy it. Buy it. Every time I say buy it, that counts. Just buy like 50 copies. Buy tons of copies. And if you happen to see a store with my username, a total coincidence, not related, I'm a genius. I wouldn't need to do that. I don't need to do that. I didn't have to take out a personal payday loan in order to pay for my kids' schooling or anything. And I'm just doing great, because I'm successful and I am so smart. So it's all good. Anyway, thank you for subscribing. Make sure you tune in for more MTG Finance news.